Alright, here's the deal, lovely audience. People hype up the surgery itself, right? It's recovery. Recovery is the part you want to research. Make sure you understand really well how recovery works before you go, because even though I watched a million YouTube videos since I was like 12, there was a lot I didn't know. But some I did, and I'm glad I did. It made it less scary. So here's the deal. At least in my surgery, when you wake up, so I had packing, which was like a bunch of bandages running up all the way up to my chest. It was really high up. From my understanding, that's only because I got 0 dev. Every full dev person I spoke to did not have packing go all the way up to their chest. I was unique in that case. I can't find any example online of that happening, so it might have just been a me thing. Maybe that was necessary for my body. Who knows? Or maybe the person that did it was tired. So I have packing, and there's 3 tubes running into my new lower regions. The first 2 are like blood ducts. And basically, just if any excess blood comes out, it goes through that. It's not painful, really. It just feels weird. You just feel like something's like shoved up there and stays there. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just so you don't bleed and infect yourself, basically. So, you have those. And then you have the catheter. You will hate those words by the end of this, lovely audience. I did, that's for sure. So, it goes up there. It's not that bad, but it's just annoying. So you just have this thing shoved up to you, and it kind of like leads your pee through a tube and then goes into a little pee case basket thing. Satchel, a pee satchel. Unfortunately, you'll have to look at the pee satchel because you have to press like this little button on the side of it to release the pee. And unfortunately, you got to do this yourself, lovely audience. Here's a video of what it looks like with heavy censoring. So here's something I didn't know about. They have these like leg compression things like attached to my legs. My understanding is these are to keep the blood circulation going. Yeah, these suck. I hated these things. Like every second, just your legs just get pushed by compressed. This compression, it's awful, lovely audience. It's awful. Hated it. Ugh. It was the worst. The worst. Hated this thing. You're just trying to relax and sleep, and no, it's still on. It never stops. You have this on you for like 5 days. It does not stop. Your perception of time becomes how many seconds was it since the last time it went. No one told me about this. I read so much resources and I didn't. Was this just a me thing? Whatever. So we suffer for a couple of days of only eating chicken or miso soup. Wow. Riveting options. I never want to see soup again, lovely audience. If I get shown soup, I will scream. Probably.
I've gone through the tough part. I didn't feel much of it, but hey. But I get to eat my first big meal soon. Fried chicken. Well, fried rice with chicken. Very excited. It's been tough, but strangely I did okay. Proud of myself for that.
So after a couple of days of you're allowed to eat again. Oh my god. You never appreciate eating so much as when you recover from this. Like, when they let you eat again, it's beautiful. You'll eat anything. I hate egg, for example, but the first meal I was given was like eggs. I devoured it. I viewed it as a meal from the gods. And lovely audience, I hate egg. And guess what? I still do. But I didn't realize that because I was so desperate for consumption. This led to me having stuff like sushi, burgers, and a bunch of other irresponsible decisions. You probably want to have pretty light foods at first. Make sure you have plenty of fruit. Forgot to do that. So eventually you have to poop. And videos didn't detail this enough, so I will. I will risk demonetization. We're talking about pooing, lovely audience. Eventually, the body has to let everything out. However, because of the anesthesia, laxatives, and all that, your body's going to take a while to readjust. And in addition to that, you're being given a lot of painkillers. Which there's the yellow one and the black and red one. I'll put the names on the screen. The yellow one's pretty standard, but the black and red one, oh my god, I hated this. I think my body just couldn't handle it or something, because it made me nauseous all the time. It made me vomit everywhere. Like the first couple of days, like before I could eat, I was vomiting almost daily. And I felt so bad because my mom, who kindly came to help me, had to keep running back and forth with this tiny little bucket they gave us to vomit into. And then I'll just vomit in it again. I felt so bad. But once you start eating again, the vomiting kind of stopped, but the nausea continued. For some reason, this painkiller medication really messed up my body. And I couldn't really communicate that to the staff, so I just kind of had to push through. So what happened was my body would get filled up with food and I couldn't poop at all. It was like a week at that point. My body felt almost filled up. I felt like it was almost pushing into my lung. It wasn't, right? That can't happen to my knowledge, but it felt like it. When I lied down and I breathed, I felt like my air was like being like strangled. It was really hard to breathe. And from what I learned, this doesn't happen to anyone else. Apparently this is just a me thing. So, look forward to not having this, I guess. So, in a nutshell, I couldn't sleep lying down for about a week. Because if I tried lying down, I couldn't breathe. But if I sat up, I could breathe. What I ended up having to do was grabbing like a water bottle and like squish it and then like place it on my back and then sleep on it to create enough friction for me to be able to have a little comfy spot to be able to breathe. Lovely audience, I'll confess something. This was, along with the laxatives, the hardest part for me. Which is weird because it's not really related to the surgery itself. The surgery itself, I was recovering fine. The nurses kept saying, very good, whenever they checked on me. I had no complications down there. Nothing. It was perfect. It was a perfect surgery. The hospital was really happy about it. The surgeon was really proud of himself. I was happy. It's just I couldn't breathe when I lied down. Lovely audience. So what happening was I just had to keep shoving stuff there and just hoping I could breathe. I didn't sleep for weeks, lovely audience. It was tough, but I got through it. What ended up helping was eventually I stopped taking the massive painkiller, which I didn't know if I was allowed to do that, but I did. So the second I took off that medication, I could A, breathe, and B, I could poo. Now here's how pooing works. You have a lot of stitches down there, lovely audience, if you do bottom surgery. So you can't really clench. You can't push. Instead, lovely audience, you have to just let it go out on its own. So get a nice podcast, get some headphones, sit on the loo and just hope it comes out. You'll have very frustrating pooing experiences. You'll sit there for like an hour and nothing comes out. You'll get up, try again, try another hour, and then maybe it comes out. The first poo is pretty glorious though. However, I needed assistance for my first one. They gave me another laxative. Luckily the pill one, not the liquid one, but it still sucked. Again, I don't want to think about laxatives. Okay, so once that's done, yeah, it's just about removing stuff at this point. Like bear in mind, at this point, imagine just weeks of boredom, right? Most of bottom surgery, you just kind of sit there. You don't do much.
You know, the craziest thing about all this I wasn't expecting as far as the smart TV, because you get a smart TV and you can press the home button and do various things. The switch icon's only there because I plugged in my own switch. But, so like, Netflix works just fine. I don't know about Prime because I don't have Prime. But Disney Hotstar, you're like, what's a Disney Hotstar, right? Yeah, it turns out Disney Plus in Thailand seems to use a different account and subscription altogether. As a result, my Disney Plus account does not work with this app. So if you're really planning on binging a lot of Disney Plus, you'll probably want a VPN or something, which would be, it'd be a great segue if I was sponsored by a VPN service, but I'm not. And I think being sponsored in a bottom surgery video is in bad taste, so did you know I got a Raid Shadow Legend sponsorship once? I never took it, but it's cool to know that they asked. Anyway, if you're doing bottom surgery in this clinic in particular, maybe rely on Netflix for your viewing, for watching lots of things, but YouTube works, Netflix works, and if you have a games console, you can plug it in for your HDMI. But yeah, Disney Plus seems to be a no-go, which is unfortunate because I wanted to watch Teen Beach Movie 1 and 2 multiple times. I love that movie. Oh well.
Just hope it comes out. You'll have very frustrating pooing experiences. You'll sit there for like an hour and nothing comes out. You'll get up, try again, try another hour, and then maybe it comes out. The first poo is pretty glorious though. However, I needed assistance for my first one. They gave me another laxative. Luckily the pill one, not the liquid one, but it still sucked. Again, I don't want to think about laxatives. Okay, so once that's done, yeah, it's just about removing stuff at this point. Like, bear in mind, at this point, imagine just weeks of boredom, right? Most of bottom surgery, you just kind of sit there. You don't do much. You kind of just watch Netflix, play games, and draw, I guess. That's kind of what I did. Any activity you can do sitting down, make the most of it. If you have a passion that can be done sitting down, bring anything you need to do it, okay? So, eventually, they take the cables out, all the tubes. Now, when they take out the blood duct, now they do this like days apart. The blood duct, it's really scary because like you suddenly see them grab out scissors and you're like, what the heck are you gonna do? Because they don't actually tell you what's gonna happen. Because the English isn't amazing. They're just like, remove blood duct. And I'm like, oh okay. And then they have scissors and I'm like, oh god. So they snip, and then what they do is they literally pull it out of you. Now the pain isn't as bad as you think it'd be, but it still hurt. The staff are wonderful. They really like reassure you as best they can. If like it hurts too much, they will wait a bit before they do the second one because there's two of them. So then they snip, pull, and it's not that fast, don't worry. It's more like a tiny little pull. Alright, next, packing. The packing, I think this is a unique experience to me, or Zero Dev, but they had to remove the bandages on my body, obviously. I had chest hair. I didn't know I had chest hair because it's so thin. I've never had to worry about chest hair in my life, but here we are. So, they tried to rip it off because the bandages were sticky, and it felt like waxing, but like the dark souls of waxing. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't, but that's okay. Just know it was really hard. So what ended up happening was the staff had to kind of do it in one go because it was too painful. So they said the phrase, like waxing, okay? And I'm like, okay. And then they just, it hurt. Lovely audience, I screamed.
We're getting there. Now it's just about recovering and not getting bored. So other than them removing the catheter and the dressing packaging, I think that's the last major medical thing they need to do, provided no complications. So let's rest our best and ensure that there's no issues that would prevent just chilling. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do my best to chill. They gave me a little bag of medicine. So that medicine I'll take after my meals and before I go to bed. And those should keep you feeling nice and happy. And yeah, once you get to this point, it doesn't really hurt anymore. it's just kind of chilling. Well, and the catheter being stuck up here, but what are you going to do? You kind of get used to it. Yeah. Also, the doggo puppy plushie I got, I named them Patsy, a type of food, because I thought that'd be cute.
Alright, packing's out. Now what? Yeah, they then take out your catheter, and when they take out the catheter, that actually did really hurt. Because of how it works, like when they remove it, it feels like you need to pee desperately, but you can't. So it feels almost like your blood's gonna like fly out. It doesn't. They take it out and then you feel a sense of relief. You can go to the toilet and pee like a regular person. Now with that, I was allowed to go outside. During this entire time, imagine not being able to shower. Imagine not being able to step up and walk that much. Imagine not being able to, well, not in my case, not being able to breathe properly. The air feeling dusty. It was a really hard experience. The nurses were kind and tried to help whenever they could, but it was very, very confronting, to be honest. You felt trapped. And I have a little bit of a phobia or a fear of being trapped in environments, and that was really hard for me. But we did it, and we finally got to go outside, and that was nice. The rest of the experience, I must confess, was a bit uneventful. Once you've got all the stuff out, all they kind of did was make me sit around, and then they would like clean the wounds like twice a day, specifically at about 9 to 10, and then at about 3 to 4 in the day. So I just would go out in the middle of that. And because of zero depth, I guess, once you get through all that, you can walk fine, at least in my experience. So I could even use the stairs to go to what's called the Living Mall, which is across the street. It was pretty nice. They have some nice restaurants there, Black Canyon, organic, that kind of thing. Again, I'll do a video about all the food. And I traveled with someone that was vegetarian, so I'll be able to detail vegetarian stuff too. But yeah, the rest of the days are painfully uneventful, which is bad for a video. But essentially, the days loop together. It feels like Groundhog Day. It feels like, well, the movie Groundhog Day. I learned during the trip that Groundhog Day is a real holiday in America, I think, and it's not related to time looping. You learn something every day, I guess. But overall, it was just boring. So overall, would I recommend bottom surgery? It's a very personal decision at the end of the day, and it was a tough experience with lots of boredom, an endless loop of lying in a bed, staring at more Netflix than I ever want to see for the rest of my life. You deal with like the same food, a lot of it not being the best. You deal with all these confronting things, but at the end of the day, you get what you want. The whole point of going there is to do something to feel gender affirming. So, with zero depth specifically, I got it because the pros and cons were in the favor of pros. I didn't feel much value in whether my new lower region had a canal or not. As at the end of the day, I have a butt. Lovely audience. But I did this for my own euphoria, to be able to go to dance classes with like nice leggings and not have to worry about something sticking out. It was about feeling comfortable in my body. It was about no longer having like morning wood when I wake up and it horrifying me. My lower region dysphoria was something that I brushed aside for a long time. And it was the right decision in the end, from what I'm feeling now. Ultimately, you can't know until you really sit down and assess what's important to you. There's all sorts of options for gender affirming surgeries. such as the full depth, which most people get, 0 depth, which I got. There's orchirectomies, I think I'm saying that right. That's when they just remove the testosterone, like creators, I guess, within the lower region. Then there's scrotectomy, is that how you say that? Where you get rid of the ball sack, and then the doodle remains. There's all sorts of things. Heck, I've seen ones where like there's hybrids where like you can have like the doodle shaft and then also have a vagina. So research what you think is valuable to you and do what makes you comfortable, most importantly. You have to do it for you, not anyone else. Now the last major thing I'll mention, and I don't know if it's live yet, but the hospital's website actually asked to interview me before I left. To my knowledge, they didn't know I did content creation, that kind of thing. It's a funny coincidence, but if that video is published by the time this video goes up, I'll link it in case you want to see. But it was kind of cool because they had like the ring light and they show you sitting there and that kind of thing, and it's asking you various questions. Now, if I made this experience overall sound really negative, that's because it's very confronting. In the moment, it's scary, but it's doable. I think if I can do it, other people can do it. I'm a bit of a wimp, but I did it. But you gotta decide for yourself if you can or can't do it, or if you want to do it. You don't have to do it. You can still live as a girl without doing it. You can still live as a guy without doing it. Doesn't matter. Just, again, gender is what you make of it. Just do it for you, no one else. Don't let anyone pressure you into it, because ultimately, it's a lot harder to go through this if it's something you don't even want. It has to be something that means something to you, so that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. When you're in the moment, it feels bad. When you're out of it and you start to feel glimpses of regular life, but without a doodle, it feels pretty good. You know, like I'm happy about it. I think I'll be happier once I'm recovered and I can do normal life things again, like dancing and stuff. But until then, I get to live a little bit of my life as normal. I mean, I managed to stand here for 50 plus minutes and record, so I'm pretty proud of that. It showed I made it in a way, and I'll do my best to recover as best I can. Now, I shall be off, but there'll be other bottom surgery videos and also general trans videos. As usual on this channel, weekly uploads. You're welcome to ask any question about bottom surgery and I'll answer them. I can make a video about bottom surgery questions, stuff about the rooms, that kind of thing. And I'll also make the video about food, and I might make one about how like the room experience works at the hospital I went to. With that all said, this has been the Fairy Princess Lucy channel. If you want more stuff from me, feel free to subscribe and hit the funny bell button. If you want to join the Discord, feel free. We also stream on the weekends. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. If you're watching this specifically because you want to do bottom surgery, feel free to ask any question you want. It's okay. I asked a million questions. If you ask one down below, I'll do my best to answer it as best I can. Okay, with that all said, stay hydrated and know that you are valid. I'm back. I made it. That said, I got a lot of stuff because I haven't unpacked yet, so I actually can't fully walk that way very easily. So, I can't do like the whoop, go down thing because I can't really crouch. So, let's do something new. Okay, I'm gonna go that way into the wall, and we're gonna pretend I walk that way. Sound good? Okay. See you next week. Stay hydrated. Know you're valid. Yeah.